Howdy y'all. On this episode of Rednecks Without Regrets, the Frog Level crew find themselves on the Hatfield and McCoy trail system, Devil Anse, Rock House, and Buffalo Mountain. But this day we kicked the dirt and jumped on the water and hooked up with Hatfield and McCoy Airboat tours. Man, we had a good time on this trip. The captain took us down the Tug Fork River and showed us all kinds of sites that showed historical spots where a lot of the Hatfield McCoy feuds took place. Now, typically the captain would pick you up at the Matewan depot, but since we were coming in on side-by-sides off of Trail 21 Devil Anse into Matewan, he wanted us to cross over into Kentucky and cross over the Tug Fork River and meet him on the shores of the Tug Fork River in front of Hatfield's hideout. Again, like I said, this is like the center of where so many things took place with the feuds between the Hatfield and McCoys. You really should check it out. Take a few hours, enjoy this trip.
He's doing it while he's on the phone. Yeah. It's funny in the video, it doesn't look like the blade's moving, but yet it is. It's weird.
That is weird.
See that?
Yeah. When you turn it around,
See that? Look, see how the blade? It looks like it's barely moving, yet it's flying right there.
Now, when you're on the boat, it's pretty noisy. So, in order to talk to each other, he's got these ear cans and microphones so we can enjoy the ride, scream in each other's ears and talk about what we've seen. Also, through these headphones, he shares with us the historic sites. Unfortunately, in this video, I couldn't pipe that in, so I'll have to point out some of the different things that he showed us. But for the most part, it was just a gorgeous ride. Now, we had never ridden on an airboat before. Obviously rode on a lot of outboards and inboards on lakes around here, but we really had a good time and were amazed on how smooth and nimble the airboat was. And what you'll notice here is not only is it riding smooth, but it can ride in very shallow water. When we asked the captain what depth he needed, he said, "I don't need water. This boat can actually be pushed along dry ground." I imagine it's not good for the boat, but it's capable of doing it. It was pretty amazing. Now this rope bridge, suspension bridge that we're going under here, actually there's a golf course on the right, and you go across that bridge on the golf cart to a hole on that side. So you go from West Virginia to Kentucky to play golf. That bridge looks a little sketchy to me, but they'll take full-size tractors across it. In fact, when the Tug Fork River flooded many years ago, some of the bridges collapsed, but that little suspension bridge survived. Now at this site, the captain is telling us about a little bit of romance that happened between a Hatfield and a McCoy. It was about 2 months after Stanton Hatfield was killed, which was Devil Ant's son. His brother, John C., I think is how you pronounce it, met Rosanna McCoy, and he was, well, he liked her. And so they got together and started hanging out. They became lovers, but Hatfields didn't approve of it. So it's right here in this area where after she got pregnant, she went to go live with a family member. Now, when we were riding along, we'd get some real strong aromas of like sweet fruit or flowers. And so the captain told us these were actually pawpaw trees, and they were bearing fruit at this time. So they were ripening on the trees, but it was very aromatic. So he actually pulled over to get us some pawpaw fruit for us to, you know, try out. And Ryan is standing there holding a rope, wishing he was all that.
Do you peel it or just bite into it like an apple?
You can do either way. I don't particularly like the skin of it, but you can peel it or just. I would take it.
So after the captain goes and pulls over and picks us some, this fella came down and waved us in, and he had a whole bag of pawpaws that he gave us. Really nice fella, and had some cute dogs too.
Howdy.
But anyways, he gave us a full bag of them, and we really enjoyed those that evening, and actually saved some of the seeds and going to try to transplant them down here in South Carolina. But we appreciated the hospitality, and he didn't take any money that we wanted to get him, so that was exceptionally nice. Now coming back, this is that bridge that connects the two holes on the golf course. there's where we put in at, and there's our side-by-sides, and that campground up there is Hatfield's hideout. Now we're making the turn heading back into Matewan. Now what the captain told us is along this right side that you see here that's on the Kentucky side, there's a lot of McCoys that still live there, and in fact, he said sometimes they'll have reunions there, sometimes the family will just come out and wave. So I guess they're kind of friendly and understand that they're a little bit famous. But I thought that was kind of neat. Now what you see here is a flood wall built on the West Virginia side in Matewan, and this was built in 1996 according to the captain. It prevents the town from being flooded if the river rose again. There's gates on it in certain spots so they can close them when the flood comes and then open them for people and cars to pass through. Now this area that we're approaching here is where the Paw Paw Massacre took place. Now what we're looking at here is the Kentucky side of the Tug River. What happened was some McCoy boys jumped Ellis and Hatfield and murdered him. I mean, they stabbed him like 26 times. And so Hatfield constables took the McCoy boys and moved them to a safe location. Well, when Ants found out about it, he went and grabbed them and took them into his custody. The mother, if I'm telling this story right, went to Ants in the middle of the night and made a deal that he would return them alive back to Kentucky. Well, he did. The only issue was, when he got on the Kentucky side, right through those trees right there, there were some pawpaw bushes. They tied him to those bushes or trees and shot him. I mean, shot him up to where they were described as bullet riddled. And so the Hatfield and McCoy feud continues. Yeah, I guess it'd be still very fresh.
Yeah, I mean, even like I said, if you were buying two boats when you got fuel at 85, still ain't no.
Now here on the right hand side in West Virginia, you can see the Matewan flood wall again, and if you look, you can see that there's murals etched into the side of it, and those murals depict along that wall that is several thousand feet different events that took place in the town, from the Coal Wars to the Hatfield McCoys. It's a very historical spot. Really, y'all, if you get out here to ride, take a day, take an afternoon, a part of a day, and come down to Matewan and check some of this stuff out. And if you can get on this boat ride, you'll not regret it. I promise it. Well, y'all, that wraps this one up. Until next time, y'all be good.